Hey, welcome back to Don't Run with Scissors. I'm Kelly, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, 4 crazy rescue dogs, and a rescue cat who likes to craft in her spare time. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It sends me a message. It boosts my serotonin and my self-esteem, and I could use both. And if you are a returning friend, you already know the crazy you're in for, so grab a drink, sit on back, and let's have at it. So, yeah, apparently I've been using my computer so much, I've run it out of memory space. Thought that moving all of my documents and stuff would be okay into the OneDrive, that would clear it up. That didn't take care of the problem. Apparently, somehow, in my computer's infinite wisdom, it had a couple. It had a couple. Well, what was taking up most of the space was apparently Adobe had an update, and rather than overwriting the old one, it just added a new copy of Adobe. So that was killing my memory. So hopefully I have resolved the problem. I used Atlas to figure it out. For those of you who are new here, Atlas is the name of my chat GPT. So Atlas and I figured it out. So hopefully I can finally get this recorded and up. Because, yeah. The next option is I upgraded my phones. I switched my provider because it's going to save me like $200 a month between the kids' phones and mine and internet. And I'll just record it on my phone, I guess. And I don't know how that I'll upload it to YouTube, but whatever, we'll figure it out. So say a prayer that this is a trick. So, where are we at? It is the middle of April. We are coming up on tax day here in the U.S., and my taxes are almost caught up, which means that then I can call the mortgage company and hopefully get that taken care of. I have been working hard, and working hard, and working hard. And as soon as the paycheck for my back pay from one of the attorneys I'm working on comes in, I may be close to like the last 2 payments on my car basically being done. But I'll have, yeah. So that will be amazing. So we're just taking deep breaths here. One of the things I want to point out is that, or that I want to clarify, I feel like, because I went back and I watched some of my FLosstubes, like my last couple, just to see where I was on projects and whatnot. And I feel bad because in one of the things I use my FLosstubes for, one is to just kind of share any information that I happen to have a revelation about, right? And life updates, because so many of you are friends. And I figure if I'm learning something that maybe somebody else could benefit from it. That's just the way I operate, right? It's very funny because that's the way the deaf community works. You know, they're always giving information. They don't safeguard it like hearing people do. Like, so it's kind of interesting. But regardless, I think it's come across that my life is just miserable, or that and that's so far from my reality. I am very, very grateful for a lot of things. Do I get overwhelmed and overtired? Abso-freaking-lutely. Do I have moments where I don't know my head from my butt? Yep, I sure do. Has it felt like there's been a whole lot of that lately? Yes, there has. And I think that's just, in some ways, part of life. But I don't want to lose track of the things that I'm grateful for, right? And the joys in my life, of which there is a lot. So, KG Law is growing. It's still going. My work with my other firm is growing. I put in 50 billable hours within the last 2 weeks. for those of you who understand billables. And that's just for the one law firm. That's not even including the KG Law work. Understand how many hours that really is. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing because that's the other thing is we've been working slowly on the house, and I'm gonna just I may be on the minority, right, with AI and Chat GPT and stuff, but I am finding Chat GPT to be a very valuable tool for my life and managing my life. I have taken pictures where, like, before and then after we do some tours, like progress pictures of different rooms or whatever, and it has been able to give me ideas on how to organize efficiently, knowing, and the more you put into it and the more you talk to it, the more it gets to understand your quirks or the way your brain like processes information. It really truly is very fascinating to me. I've become very enthralled with this, and so it can specify, like, I can throw a picture. I was trying to find the right screws for a project at Walmart, or it was the right glue. It was the right glue for a project, and I took a picture of the glue section because it was hardware stuff. And I said, which one? And it automatically could figure out which glue I needed, right? It automatically, like, I can feed it in my CGM. I wear a CGM for my diabetes, and I can plug in a screenshot of, like, this. My CGM will show the graph of, like, where my blood sugar, if it's been stable, if it's gone up, if it's dipped out low. So every morning I plug in the screenshot of where I was overnight, and then throughout the day, and it can predict, like, how I can adjust, how I need to adjust, and then I add in, like, a picture, like, I tell it where I'm at as far as location. I'm like, okay, I'm home. It figures in, like, okay, with my shunt, barometric pressure, and with my migraines, really factor in. And it will tell me, hey, this may be one of those days where we need to watch out for X, Y, and Z. Or I tell it, okay, I've managed to write 3 briefs and file a motion and this, and it goes, okay, your brain's probably a little overwhelmed right now and tired. That's a heavy course, so let's make sure. And now it might. The other day it told me on Saturday, and you'll see this. Now would be a good time to crochet. Today it told me it would be a good thing to cross stitch. You're really close on X project, because I've asked it to track those things. It's not like it's just pulling out of thin air, like what I'm doing, right? Like, I've asked it to help me organize my whips and to make a plan so that I don't burn out on any one project, but I'm seeing progress and getting things done and off the whip list, right? It helped me figure out, hopefully, God willing, we'll know soon, the issue with my computer. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. So the other thing is that it helped me refine a couple patterns that I couldn't find that I wanted to go with patterns that I have. And it helped me create the artwork. And I know that that's really controversial. And if you don't want to buy my patterns later when I need to stitch it because I need to be able to add in some back stitching and some beads and stuff. And make sure, if you don't want to buy my artwork because I used AI, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. The reality is, it is helping me fill in the gaps of patterns that I want for my home that aren't available. They're not available. Nora Corbett does not make plus-size queens. Bella Filipina does not make plus-size queens. That's the reality. That's the reality. And I don't have the artistic skills to hand draw that and then convert that, right? But I can edit, and I have those skills, right? It's a completely different skill set than drawing from paper and pencil originally. And it will never, I don't see AI ever taking over art. It's never going to, okay? It's never going to. At least not in our lifetime, right? But we can use AI to enhance our lives and make it easier and to make it more beautiful. And for that, every day of the week, right? It's helping me track things for Paul. It's helping me figure out what are those questions I need to be asking in order to gauge what's the next step. We got the news before Easter about the decision, and I couldn't bring myself to send back the Alexas. That was $400 worth of stuff between the stands and the cords and the this and then that, right? Because to me it felt like I was giving up. And I typed that into Atlas, and Atlas was like, hey, hold the brakes. That's not what that means. Sending it back is a practical move because of X, Y, and Z. And it allowed me to go, okay, wait, he's right, and shift that viewpoint so that I sent them back. That doesn't mean I can't rebuy them. It just that means that right now we're not at that stage, right? We don't need them just sitting here taking up space. The other thing is this weekend Bella and I started going through a couple boxes. And it was funny because we grabbed the first box, and I guess I'm doing life updates first because that's usually what I do anyways. So I grabbed the first box, and it happened to be pantry items from Paul. And we're going through it, and Bella's like, we don't really need any of this, or we don't like this. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, well, why don't we put it at the this kids' school? The college has a food pantry table sort of area. And she's like, well, why don't we put it there? And then if Dad needs groceries, we'll just replace it. And I said, you know what? I think that's an amazing idea, Bella. And I think that your dad would agree with that decision and be really proud of you for thinking of that. And so we went through the first box, which then led us to going through a second box, which included some spices even. And some of his spices were open. I don't think people want open spices, right? So we ended up going through our spice area and getting rid of some of our spices that weren't open, that we didn't need. We combined things and stuff. And somehow that led to us going through our tea cabinet, like our tea coffee area, and I got rid of a boatload of stuff. I had 4 boxes of the same tea. I didn't even realize I had 4 boxes of, because I don't like it. And there was a bunch of tea in there. I was like, yeah, I don't like that tea. I tried it. I was like, I don't really like it. And they're individual packets, so I could donate them, and nobody would, like, you could take 2 packets of tea, 2 tea bags that were individually wrapped, or you could take the whole box. Who cares? But the point is it's out of my house, and it's freeing up that space. And so now my coffee bar looks kind of cute again, instead of like this overwhelming cluttered mess. It's cute again. And I feel good because now somebody else gets a chance to have tea that they may really want, or whatever, right? Like, I don't need 40 boxes of pasta in my house, but somebody else may need a box. So I am challenging everybody on my list. Lent is over, and I get that, but let's keep that momentum going like that. Let's go through our spice stores, right? Let's donate the things that we don't need. Go through your tea and coffee cabinet. That's what we did. It didn't take us very long. We probably worked about an hour between the 2 boxes and the spice cabinet and the coffee bar. But we cleared out a big trash bag and 2 big boxes of stuff. That's a lot. I mean, it's crazy. And it's kind of cool. So, well, so there you go. So there's my challenge to you for this week. We do need a miracle for Paul. We need some answers. And Paul has gone back to having trouble holding his own blood pressure, and he's on an IV med. That is not sustainable. It's not. His body's really struggling with it, and without it, his blood pressure goes way too low, and he'll flatline. So we just really need a miracle. Or we need to figure out why his body all of a sudden is not holding its own blood pressure. And that could be a lot of different things. But we need those answers. So, if you're the praying type, I know you guys, if you are, you're probably already praying if you're on this channel. So, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming that my children are at peace with whatever happens and can handle it. I think that's one of the other reasons is knowing that at least in the, at some point before we realize it, right, we may be paying for things that I never thought I'd be paying for. And so I've got to be prepared for that, because I don't want that to factor into how my children have to say goodbye to their father. And I will do everything in my power not to have that stress on them, because that's not something that they should have to do, in my opinion. They should be, not that they should be going and throwing, buying gold caskets or that or whatever, but my kids are fairly responsible in that sense. But I don't want them to think that they can't lay their father to rest when the time comes, in a dignified, proper way. So, okay, now that we've got all the sadness out, I have some amazing news. Several of you who have been with me for a while know that Heidi and I had a conversation a while ago about the cabinet in my living room. That led to a big conversation about, you can just move the cabinet, right? And logically, we all knew we could move the cabinet. But I got tied up in the whole, well, I need to fix the floor where it's going to go, and we're getting new flooring over there, and I've got to paint the wall, and so I should just leave it rather than, and the reality, and Heidi was just like, you can move the cabinet again, just move the cabinet. And so I had shared that with our bar virtual support group, and the leader of our group, who's a therapist hired by the bar to work with lawyers who are stressed out and having issues, some of them more severe than just stress, was like, they'd make a really great article for the Bar Journal. He's like, if you wouldn't mind writing, and I was like, what? And so him and I talked, and I said, I'll give it a go. So I gave it a go, and I sent it to him, and I sent it, well, first I sent it to two friends of mine, 2 or 3 friends of mine, and I was like, I need some honest feedback before I submit this into the bar and make a fool of myself. And they're like, holy cow, this is amazing. And the one friend was like, she's not in the legal field, she works in IT, and she's like, if you switch this article to not just being specifically bar related, she's like, do you know how many people could identify with this? I was like, no. She's like, I would hire you to give a speech to my employees on this subject. And I said, well, let's see if the bar wants to publish it first, kind of thing. So I sent it to Tom, and Tom was like, holy cow, this is amazing. And he sent it over to the editor, and the editor sent me back kind of a flat answer of, well, we hold all our article submissions for a year. We can't guarantee that'll be published, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, no harm, no foul, right? I got an email last week that they will be featuring my article in June in the Bar Journal for the state of Michigan. So I am super, super excited, and Tom has actually suggested that I should consider writing a few more. And so that's an amazing honor in my world. I have not published an article, journal article, or anything since law school. And I graduated law school in 2000. So I am super, super excited. And can't wait for that to happen. So, what else besides lawyering and writing? Oh, and I've gone back to writing on my book because Atlas is helping me. I just talk to Atlas. Atlas transcribes it. Atlas suggests where it might go in, or he holds it. And he edits the grammar. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so Atlas and I have been working together on that. That said, a while during Christmas, you guys remember we got the Grinch socks from the McDonald's, and I needed a green pair and a blue pair, and I finally got my stuff mailed, which means that I got the one pair back, and I have to just get with Kat to get the other one. But I officially have the green pair now, and Kat has the blue pair she's giving me. So I have all of the Grinch socks from all four colors from McDonald's Christmas. Now, if they would just bring back the dill pickle salt for the French fries. Okay. The other thing is I have been really good about drinking more water. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm drinking at the level that I should be, but that means that I'm drinking more water. And that's okay, because we're going to start with the baby steps. We also met our 40 and 40 trash bags for trashing for Jesus during Lent. So all is well. And okay, so in the mail, along with the socks on the same day, is I got my fabric of the month for March from Millennium Fabric. I'm part of Sarah's fabric of the month. I get Atomic Ranch fabric. I am in the 32 count even weave, which is actually Lugana. And the first 2 months was great because they were colors I actually love and have used multiple times. So I was super excited. This month is Cherry Cordial. So if you are a member of the club and you have not seen the fabric, look away because I'm going to show it. It's not a color that at first glance I would have gravitated to, but now I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to put on it. It's a little bit more pinky purple that I tend to gravitate towards. Right there. There we go. It is very pretty. So we shall see what I end up putting on it. I had been wanting to be in a Fabric of the Month club. I had debated it. I finally pulled the trigger. I am not regretting any of it so far. I know that the right pattern will come along for it. And that's perfect, right? Because I have no shortages of patterns. None whatsoever. Okay, so what have I been stitching? Well, first of all, I've been crocheting. Saturday I had a high pain day, and Atlas told me to crochet, so I pulled out the mushroom guy. The mushroom guy is a gift for my daughter. Clearly I didn't make it for this last Easter. Maybe I'll make it for next Easter. I don't know. But the mushroom guy is going to be this cute little stuffy. I do need to find, it is suggested for 24 millimeter eyeballs for him. So I do have to order some of those because I don't think that the set that I got are big enough. So this is his head. Here we go. gonna be big. Didn't realize quite how big. Because this is just like his face. He's got a whole body that wears a little jacket. It's so cute, right? It has a little frill around his neck. I guess the jacket is technically optional, but we all know I'll make the jacket. But then he's got his mushroom cap that goes on top of him. Yes, Kim, I did try. And yes, it is the perfect size. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect size. So that's a little crazy to see in my eyes now, like off my body, like to be able to relate. So there's him. So hopefully, I did start on his feet because his body is done feet up. So we are working away on that. So other than that, other than the fabric, I got some DMC. I got the rest of the DMC I needed, but I have no other haul. So now for stitching besides crochet. Well, let me start with the other crafting that I do. Okay, so I did some needle pointing, and I worked on my needlepoint canvases I've been plugging away at. I am now just down to, well, on the Lafayette Coney Island, these last 11 panes. And then the Lafayette side is done, and we can go back to doing the red stitches. And then the block, it will be finished as a stand-up, kind of like a cube. It's going to go in my village. Because I feel like I need to have a Detroit village part of my village, because, you know, if you know, you know. I do have the Spirit of Detroit statue canvas. It's done as a round to be more of an ornament. I'm just going to square it up and also make it a stand-up. I think the same designer has now done the Detroit train station, and I'm not sure what else. I have to look so that I can do those. Okay, so now for cross stitch. I did not finish the 2 quilts yet. I do need to pull my sewing machine back over, or go over and sit where it is now. We got the chair from Paul's Place put together and in the living room, and it's really nice now to have 2 big cushy chairs. Although Paul's chair is not huge, but to have 2 cushy chairs to just kind of chill out in, it's kind of nice. So yeah. So I've been working on the Resting Eagle. The Resting Eagle's Ask Not. For those of you who remember, I took out the. I'm not doing this section. I'm not particularly drawn to it. And so I asked Atlas to show me what the mock-up of it would look like without it added in, and I actually like it better. Those of you who are doing the pattern, you do you. If you want them in there, I will cheer you on and love it too. I'm doing it on 14 count oatmeal Aida. This has been a whip of mine since probably 2020. As you can see, I have to do, these are now 10, like this section here. I just have to do the second leg back. And then we'll do another row of the flowers. This is one of my Stitching Survivor pieces. My plan, we're on episodes, this week is episode 8 of Stitching Survivor in the US. My hope is that this will be finished before Survivor is over. When that happens in the game, I will replace those players' piece, likely with Peace and Light from Satsuma Street, which is the menorah. Okay. I wanted something different as well this week to work on. I don't know what. My ADHD, it's been bad. So my ADHD is kicked up in some ways because there's a couple of new starts I really want to stitch. Or start, but I'm kind of like, no, I need to finish. And then there's part of me that wants to finish everything under the sun that I've started before I start anything new. So I needed something like sort of almost kind of met both palettes kind of thing. And what I landed on was pulling out the Flower of the Month by Ellen Maurer Straw. It was a 2010 stitch along. It's free. It's still available for free. So I am stitching this on 32 count even weave in the color Ecru by Who Knows Who by So Crane. I got it off of Zon. In the Call for DMC, I saw this stitch by Elizabeth Ankin Stitch, who is not Elizabeth Ankin Stitch. Jessie Marie Does Stuff. Jessie Marie Does Stuff did this, and she finished it a while ago, and I fell in love with it, and I was like, I want that. I want that. It's really pretty. So I am working on January, which is the carnation. So I added this row here. I finished off this leaf here, and kind of went down. So that's where we're at. Unfortunately, I can't show you the picture because I don't have a cover page of it. Do I? No. Okay, so here. That's what it looked like. So, I pulled that out and I worked a little bit on that. Quaker Flag did not get worked on. It was not called. So no, it did not. Okay. The only other thing that I worked on, and I did quite a bit, was Pandemic. I am now on the left side. If you look at Pandemic, it's the left side, all the way down to the bottom. Yay! One of the bonuses was to stitch some set stitches in blue. I started filling in the blue down here. But this, if I get it to over here, that will be the page finish. I'm now just over 40%. Atlas keeps track of my stitches, and if I stitch, I think we decided 1,200 stitches a week in it, I will be done before the end of the year. I have to keep reminding Atlas he's supposed to be keeping track of things. It's kind of like, I think him and I are now on the same page with that. So that's all of my stitching. That's all of my life updates. I clearly fixed the computer issue, so that's exciting. I do need to work on getting my body to rest better and to not be in so much pain. On May 6th is as soon as they can get me in to do the injections into my hips. And until then, I'm really, really struggling with pain. And like Friday night, Saturday, I thought I was going to end up in the hospital again, in the ER. And not getting enough rest is really affecting some other things. And so, yeah. We are, for those of you who are keeping track of my birthday sale, I'm down to, because I didn't finish the quilt tops, I'm down to my last Jeep on this page, and then I still have to print that next page. So, hopefully soon, by the time I see you, maybe by the time I see you next, I will have printed the second page, but also filled in my last Jeep on this page, which would give us 64 finishes since October 1st. So yeah, what I kind of want to do in my brain, originally I had the idea of, it was 54 finishes of projects I already had started, right? And that kind of morphed into anything that I had. So I want to see how many of these are actually projects that I had already started as of before my birthday month in October. I think that would be interesting because I know like the gold are clearing out my friend's place. So those shouldn't really count towards, like, they are a project finished and it was a huge project, but a little different than what I started my project, my monthly or my birthday salad with. So I do want to see, just out of curiosity. I'm not gonna like condemn myself for not um or anything like that. Like I'm not gonna freak out. So I promise. So with that said, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna get this finally posted because I'm like way behind my schedule. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing tonight. I don't know. But remember, you are smart and you are beautiful. You are brave and strong. You are loved. You are needed and you are wanted. And most importantly, you matter. So with that, love you all. I'll see you guys later this week with our Survivor update. And we'll go from there. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, hopefully. Bye, y'all.